Then I took a smidge and applied it down there.
This one's wife. Mutual loathing. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. It is fairly common that when the narcissist ensnares the intimate partner primary source, there will be friction with regard to other relationships. When two people come together, they will have an established order of things. This is even more so the older those individuals are. Both parties are likely to work, therefore they have colleagues. They will have established friend groups, inner circle friends, outer circle friends, people that they know who they see occasionally. They will have family. They may have a family of their own. They will have picked up a variety of people around them throughout the course of their life. And when they meet someone romantically, they naturally want their friends and family to like the person that they have selected to have a romantic relationship with, and for that person to like their friends and family. That makes for a more harmonious relationship. Naturally, you get all of the gags about the mother-in-law jokes, etc., instances of envious siblings and so forth. But the majority of people want to have a harmonious relationship. With the narcissist, there are inherent problems. The first is the narcissist resents the fact that the victim has people who already draw on that victim's time. The narcissist is meant to be the brightest star in the universe that the victim should wholly focus on. And the narcissist expects that this means that they reduce, indeed in some instances extinguish, the amount of time that the victim spends with their friends and family. Accordingly, not only does the narcissist seek to monopolize the time of the victim, to enable that victim almost to become intoxicated by the presence of the narcissist, this is done to crowd out other existing members within the matrix of the victim, to ensure that they can't spend as much time with friends, to ensure that they can't spend as much time with family. This serves two purposes. The first is to ensure that there is exposure of that victim to the narcissist, and also to ensure that any potential dissenting voices that exist with regard to friends and family are not listened to. If you're not spending time with those individuals, not being in contact with them, then their voice falls to be unheard. The narcissist, driven by paranoia and the necessity of dominating this individual who is the intimate partner primary source, naturally regards friends and family as getting in the way of their pursuit and domination of the IPPS. Remember, for most narcissists, this is subconscious. But the result is that the narcissist resents the presence of friends and family and will tolerate them only to the extent that they serve the needs of the narcissist. Ideally, for the narcissist, all those individuals will be swept away, enabling the narcissist to focus intently and wholly on that intimate partner primary source. Unsurprisingly, the activities of the narcissist, who may well be unrecognized by those family members and friends, does not sit well with them. They may not recognize that a narcissist has entered the midst of their involvement with their friend or family member, but they will recognize that this individual perhaps is monopolizing the time of that individual, leading to cancelled arrangements, not seeing that person as often, withdrawal by that individual. It could impact upon existing arrangements. For instance, that person doesn't play badminton anymore on a Tuesday, which historically they've done so for years. They may suddenly they may suddenly engage in counselling, coming to family arrangements because, well, Sarah wants me to go and do this with her. In some instances, of course, the family members and friends actually see some of the behaviours of the narcissist, for instance, bossing the victim around, issuing pity plays, causing problems by gossiping, as problematic in themselves. They may, as William saw in relation to Harry, express concern about the speed at which the relationship is developing, talk about marriage, children moving in together, even though the relationship is in its embryonic state. Accordingly, the presence of the narcissist is problematic. Friends and family see an individual that is imposing themselves too soon. Remember, the narcissist has that sense of entitlement, no boundary recognition, and no accountability for their behaviours. Therefore, they don't stop to think that they are creating a problem with existing relationships, which naturally puts the nose out of those family and friends members. Family and friends express concern to the victim about the behaviour of this individual, the way that they're monopolising the victim's time, etc., which of course invariably gets picked up on by the narcissist, which causes the narcissist to think, I was right all along, they don't like me, they're a problem, and thus subconsciously interprets that as a threat to control, which must be nullified. The outcome of this is that there is a mutual loathing between the narcissist and certain friends and family members. And because those friends and family members are seen as a threat to control, the narcissism will generate in the mind of the narcissist a reason why they should not be liked. Sometimes the narcissism will take a grain of truth and exaggerate it. So, for instance, it might be that a mother still fusses a little around her son. The narcissist doesn't like that because it interferes with their control of that son. Therefore, the narcissist states to their intimate partner, primary source, oh, your mum won't let you go, you're still tied to her apron strings. She's always, note the use of always, fussing around you. She should realise that you live with me now and not with her. And thus the behaviour of the caring mother is painted as something nefarious and controlling. In other instances, the narcissist's narcissism simply invents something, suggesting that a friend is envious of the relationship. I don't think your friend Peter likes me very much. I think actually he fancies me, you know. In actual fact, he did make a pass at me the other week when we were out at that bar. I didn't want to tell you, but I think it's appropriate that I do. The love-struck victim invariably believes what the narcissist is telling them, and may well then go on to confront a horrified friend who has no idea what the victim is talking about, or, in other instances, simply makes a decision there and then and lessens their involvement with the friend without giving them a fair hearing. The narcissist's manipulation of that emotionally thinking victim succeeds. Friends are lost, family members aren't seen as often. And thus, a situation of mutual loathing comes about, whereby the narcissism creates in the mind of the narcissist a reason not to like those friends and family members, neighbours, colleagues, whoever they might be, in order to compel the narcissist to ensure that they are smeared and kept away from the intimate partner primary source. This is what has happened in relation to this one's wife and Harry. As reported by Jessica Gibb in the Mirror, Prince Harry's new life in the United States and away from his pheasant-shooting friends is welcomed by his wife, this one's wife, who doesn't get on with his old group of pals, claims a royal expert. Well, that would be entirely correct. This one's wife wanted to control Harry, which meant isolating him from family. Look what's happened with regard to his relationship with his father, his stepmother, and, of course, his brother and his sister-in-law. But moreover, Harry has been completely isolated from his friends. This is what this one's wife's narcissism required. Those friends would affect her ability to control Harry, and therefore her narcissism has picked up on character traits of theirs to criticise to Harry, thus weakening the relationship between Harry and them. Furthermore, the masterstroke of moving to Canada and the United States puts clear blue water between Harry and those friends, making it far more difficult for them to spend time with him, thus weakening their relationship with him and strengthening this one's wife's hold upon him. The report continues. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who wed in 2018, moved over to the United States in 2020, and with it they cut ties with their old royal life and many of Harry's friendship circle at the time. Loss of friends isn't thought to have bothered the couple. Well, it won't bother her, because she has no remorse, no guilt, no emotional empathy, and it will bother Harry to the extent that he will miss them, but she will have convinced him that he didn't need them, that they weren't really good friends, that they were actually awful people. By repeatedly smearing them to Harry, Harry, suffering from being dim-witted and the effects of emotional thinking, will end up accepting the propaganda that's fed to him by this one's wife. The article states that Harry hates the idea of completely losing touch with his old Etonian and army friends, and he was close to Hugh Grosvenor. But attending a wedding at which his brother will be an usher is just history repeating itself in the most painful way. Harry felt he should have been invited to be an usher, but once again his brother takes precedence. Missing the wedding and increasingly losing touch with his old friends isn't all bad for Harry. He knows that this one's wife loathes many of his old woke-hating, pheasant-shooting friends, and those old friendships are still inextricably mixed with the past that in many respects Harry is happy to forget. Well, in actual fact, he's only happy to forget it because it makes life easier with his wife. If he insisted on going to Bonkers Night Spot with his old group of friends, staggering to Abracadabra for a large doner thereafter, plenty of chili, no onions, then in the circumstances, that would affect his relationship with this one's wife. Accordingly, she would give him a hard time. Those of you who have been involved with the narcissist will know about the battle of going out, the instances whereby you were going to go and do something yourself away from the narcissist, and how the narcissist would invariably drop the narc bomb to try and jeopardize that, to sabotage your night out. It would be similar for Harry, and it is often the case that the victim in the end just gives up, not bothering to go out, deciding that they won't make it, cancelling arrangements with friends, because it's just easier to keep the peace at home with the narcissist than to keep fighting against them by trying to demonstrate some degree of independence. It isn't the case that this one's wife loathed the friends because they're woke-hating and pheasant-shooting. It's simply she loathes them because they interfere with her control of Harry, that they will cause Harry to do things with them and not her. And therefore her narcissism uses the fact that they are pheasant shooting as a reason to compel her to dislike them. The narcissism causes in her mind the belief, well, I don't want to be friends with them and Harry shouldn't because they're not progressive, they're pheasant shooting, they're stick in the muds, that they have this privileged outlook on life and they're intolerant, etc. However much of that may be accurate, it's actually all about the effect of control. The fact that they want to spend time with Harry means that they will then affect her control of Harry, and that's what she subconsciously can't stand, and her narcissism selects the other characteristics as the motivation for not liking those individuals so that she keeps Harry apart from them. The article continues. The truth is that many of Harry's old friends, especially from the military and Eton, just don't get on with this one's wife. Hugh Van Cutsam's decision to work with Jeremy Clarkson, famous for his savage attacks on this one's wife, is seen by Harry as an unforgivable betrayal. The only thing that makes it bearable is that Harry knows this one's wife dislikes Van Cutsam and his one claim to fame, his ability to shoot deer. Again, Van Cutsam is viewed as a threat to control, and therefore the fact that he shoots deer is utilised by this one's wife's narcissism as the motivating factor to not like Van Cutsam and to cause Harry to part ways with him. For Harry, the end of his friendship, the article continues, with Van Cutsum is just cutting one of the last few ties with his old life, a life he never much enjoyed anyway. Well, that's probably inaccurate. You only have to look at pictures of Harry. He seemed to enjoy himself very much when he was without this one's wife, and he looks thoroughly miserable in many of the pictures since he has been with her. The Playboy Prince isn't able to do any of that anymore because he's controlled by her. The fact is that Harry's friends won't like this one's wife because they see her not only as somebody that spouts woke word salad and doesn't want to understand British culture, but particularly in the way that she has controlled Harry. They may not recognise that she is a narcissist, but they will have certainly seen the way that she has come along and basically brought him to heel like the ginger poodle that he has become. They will see how he has changed. They will see how he doesn't look as happy as he once was. They will have witnessed, of course, the straining of relations with them, the fact that the phone never calls, that messages are unresponded to, as she ensures that he waves goodbye to his past life. Those friends, good friends of Harry's from school and from the army, thus resent this one's wife's interference in the friendship and the control that they can see exhibited over Harry. Thus they loathe this one's wife. This one's wife loathes the friends because she sees them as a subconscious threat to her control over Harry, and the narcissism picks up on various characteristics of those friends to suggest they're awful individuals and not to be liked. Accordingly, as is common in the dynamic with the narcissist, that there will be some falling out between the narcissist and the friends and family of the victim. I'm often consulted with by worried family members who see a son or daughter ensnared by a narcissist and concerned about not only the way that that person is being treated, but also by the fact that they don't see as much of that individual as they once did, and how their relationships, once strong prior to the arrival of the narcissist, have become worsened. There are instances, of course, of people losing friends because of the presence of the narcissist. And it's not until they wake up, not until that victim becomes alive to what they've been ensnared with, escapes and reduces their emotional thinking, that they realise the damage that has been caused to their relationships with friends and family. Ultimately, Harry, at some future point, will wake up and it will hit him hard as he realises the damage that this one's wife has caused in relation to his friends, in relation to his family. But for now, he continues to drink the Kool-Aid, believing that it's the appropriate thing to do as she continues her control of him, and thus results in the mutual loathing between her and his friends. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.